Good day. My name is John Salinas, and today we're going to discuss the managed innovation and continuous improvement for the specific case studies related with AG Gilbert toy factory. And the main elements to consider today will be how our innovation system will improve organization performance, how the innovation links to the organization's strategic and operational goals. We're going to bring a risk analysis with detail, and we are offering as well a cost benefits analysis. And finally, we're going to discuss the details of how the innovation will be implemented. And the first consideration, we will consider the performance improvement strategy and how our plan is going to improve the competitiveness in the company. We have 4 main areas to be focusing on in terms of getting improvement in the company. So the first one is linked with the use of new technology in design, production, packing, distribution, and marketing. And we are going to do new changes, modifying processes and production procedures in order to improve competitiveness and get less wasting resources and time. What's the performance strategy? We're going to focus on the process reengineering and implementing technology or requirement in this first area, and how we're going to improve the competitiveness using these new performance strategies. In the first item, we'll see that we will have new ways to increase production and increasing that in that manner the effectiveness, and because the process will be more simplified and will require less effort to be performed. In terms of implementing technology or requirement, we will buy new machines to fabricate the products that could be expensive, but automatic processes means less cost in human resources and less use of time. Our second area will be to increase sales profit by 20% based on the last year results. And for these ones, we're going to use the performance strategy based on re-engineering processes, which will be define new methods for improving the relation between customers and sales team, follow-up orders, permanent communication with customers, will lead to the company to have more sales and increase the rate of sales made by the specific period. In this case is 1 year. And the other factor for performance strategy will be the training of employees to increase the skills in capacity. In this point, we're going to have some training for sales team focused and lead to new sales strategies that could help to develop new skills in terms of new strategies of sales, increasing then the probability of generating more sales. Our third area will be the training of new software and machines purchased to complete sales and manufacturing processes. We want to use technology as a key resource to improve the productiveness in the company. We're going to have training of employees, and we're going to use a process of re-engineering. In terms of the training, we'll have the new software that will gather information of sales and will lead the team members to manage reports for sales. The equipment for production requires training of personnel in order to improve production process. In this point, we're going to use the software to have all information complete and ready to do reports and to find weaknesses and to find opportunities to do changes that can increase our productivity. In terms of the processes of engineer, it's vital to this process, to this area, to train people in terms of how the new technology, including, will modify processes and how it will have positive impacts on the organization. And this part is quite important to engage employments in terms of how this is beneficial for the whole company. And finally, our last area will be being recognized as a reliable and profitable company. This is what the company had at the beginning when it started with the toy production. For this area, we will use our re-engineering process again, and by the creation of process of maps and monitoring strategies that will lead the company to increase the profit and increase the quality of products. This fact will improve the perception of the company. Definitely, quality is the key element to have the best perception from customers. And finally, we're going to implement technology or requirement, which is the most important factor of this quality improvement. And it's related with implementing a modern system of feedback from customers in order to find some gaps in processes and get better perception from clients. This system will hardly contribute with the continuous improvement in the organization. It is quite important for us knowing what customers need to for have a better perception. Our second focus in this conversation will be the risk analysis. So we have identified 6 main risks, and the first one will be delays on implementation of new production technology. So this has a high impact because we are doing a big transformation in the different processes like manufacturing and sales areas. It is possible that could happen because new technology requires time to be stabilized and have more that curve of learning to have this stabilization once the technology is implemented. So our mitigation strategies to reduce or to minimize this risk will be a coordination with providers in terms of scheduling and stabilization period to avoid production stopping. It is very important for us to avoid that. And to confirm all machines are ready to be installed before scheduling any activity in production area. For us, it's very important making sure that everything is ready and all staff and all machines and all equipment is ready to be set up before to programming any stop in the production if it is required. Our second risk will be the absence of employees to workshops and training to develop sales strategies and new machines implemented. If people are not well trained, definitely we will have a problem because we are doing big changes in the organization. So it has a medium impact because it couldn't not happen because as a company we need to guarantee that everyone is taking the training and is attending to the workshops. So our mitigation strategies are linked to that. So scheduling properly training sessions, making sure that all team members are included. Since the manufacturing employees up to main managers in the company must be part of this training and workshops to understand what is happening. The following risk will be the cancellation of training sessions and workshops. It has medium impact because we are, if that happens, we are missing information and we are missing feedback. We are missing some parts of the new processes. It couldn't happen because most of the training will be led by our providers, but also for managers in the company. So to avoid this, we must confirm within 8 days and 3 days before the session dates that the training and workshops are confirmed. This must be completed for new technology and sales strategies training sessions. Our third Yep. Our third risk will be delays in implementation of sales software. It has a medium impact. It could happen. It is quite hard. It is quite possible that could happen because in implementing software and as a first time, it's really hard to do. So our actions to take will be testing beta version of the software before implementing it, making stress tests to confirm the software meets company's requirements. So we need to be sure that the software it's reliable and it is what we are looking for. Our next risk will be the missing information from the software due lacking of knowledge. It definitely has made an impact, and it could happen especially at the start of the implementation because there is not enough knowledge about how to use the software. Much information could be deleted or could be lost due to this inexperience on managed software. So to minimize that, we have to training correctly in using workshops and to help to know whether employees are familiarized with the software, and some evaluation sessions are useful to determine weaknesses of software use from employees. So this is gonna help us to avoid that missing information and to reduce that risk. Finally, the feedback system might be ignored by customers. Customers and clients maybe are not that willing to take a service or giving an opinion about the progress of the company. It has made an impact because we need to continuous improvement, and it could happen very often because there's not that culture of giving feedback in companies. So to minimize and reduce that, we are thinking of creating campaigns for clients to incentive them participating in the suggestion systems, and promotions and offers can motivate customers to participate in feedback system. So we're trying to offer small gifts, probably some discounts if they participate in our service. So once the risks are identified and are managed, we're going to discuss the cost and benefit analysis and our new performance, cost, risks, benefit, and if it is feasible, maybe feasible or not feasible at all. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment, and our new performance will be the process improvement. The cost is going to be the new machinery in this point with $20,000. And the risks will be downtime with the new machinery, lack of employee training leading to defective products. This is going to be avoided in the previous table, as I mentioned it. And our benefit will be the increased productivity and increased of quality of the products. It is feasible to be done. Financials. Our new software, it's going to cost $15,000, and the risk will be the same as the new machinery. We have lack of employee training, inadequate implementation of software. So to avoid the inadequate implementation of software, we have to manage in this part our testing beta version and all making stress to confirm and to avoid and to reduce this risk. And our benefit is going to be the increased productivity in sales team, a reliable source of reports to monitor KPI. This is our key element because this is gonna give us reliable resources to determine whether we are reaching or achieving the goal established before. It is feasible because we have the software and we can implement it. So in terms of people and employees, we are offering training, of course, because we are having new machinery and new software. The total is $9,000. For the new machinery training, we will spend $5,000, and for the software, $4,000. The risk, the training could be not strong enough to use the new technology, so we need to make that evaluation or assessment or test to identify weaknesses from our employees and making sure that everyone knows what do we have to do. And our benefit will be, of course, the productivity and quality will be improved. This is related actually with financials and process improvement, but this is more linked with people, right? And finally, for customers retention and getting better perception. So our new feedback system, which is going to be based on service, and our risk is going to be the customers are not engaged of taking the service, so they don't want to do it. But our benefit of having this will help us to identify weaknesses on processes and help to define new strategies. All of these cost and benefits analysis on of those items are feasible for the company. Finally, we want to discuss, this is our KPIs, our targets and initiatives. Probably you will have a document of this, so to check with more detail. But important item to consider here is the implementation. So how all this strategy will be implemented. So John Jones proposed that to increase productivity, reduce waste, and improve sustainability, and reduce errors on production by 20%. We're going to allocate especially team members to individual lines. We're going to stop or reduce as minimum as possible the staff turnover from 32% to 20% yearly. Our production staff and process worker will be divided between specialized teams, and each team will be doing a specific lines production. So team members were working on that's what I was saying. And finally, the race to achieve a maximum of 4% of error rate and 40% increase in productivity within 24 months. That means 2 years. And this is currently linked with our 20% by year. And this is how we're going to measure everything and the actions taken to increase our productivity, to reduce staff turnover per annum, and setting goals and objectives of their own products line. So the main actions will be allocating specialist team members to individual lines, divide the production and team into 5 different teams, change the shift and roster timings, and retooling. This is the KPIs, who's in charge, and when it's going to happen, and when it's expected to happen, to see main results. Then we have the current model that is the change, what are the main obstacles and how we can manage that ones, and the short terms that we are expecting to see, and our communication plan. In terms of what will be our short-term wins, we're expecting that employees are performing their tasks easier and faster than before. Even at the beginning, it could be perceived that activities are taking longer. Once the sterilization period timing should be better. This is about to happen within 3 months after implementation. We're expecting of seeing that once the improvement plan is implemented. The staff turnover will stop immediately once the plan starts. Roles and tasks are firstly defined, and the personnel rotation will not happen anymore. So probably in some our main purpose is to stop the staff turnover, but we know that that some absence for illness or for personal or familiar issues, we have to cover with people from another team. But the main point is stopping immediately the staff turnover. And finally, after the retooling, goals and objectives for each production line will be set and monitored in order to show advance on their accomplishment. So once we stop the production for that 40 days, we will have time to define goals for each line in specific, and we will have people being aware and being compromised with the achieving of the targets. This is our communication plan. And finally, our contingency plans and what's going to happen in case that all planet is not happening. So our productivity can decrease. We could have delays in production, and the employees may resign their contracts, so they are not happy with the changes, and we can be on strike or having some negative attitudes from our customers. Our employees. So what do in that case? This is clearly specified here. What will be the new risk and our mitigation measures, and the analysis of cost of implementation in February. And finally, we are going to have amended action plan and contingency plans, which is our final actions to take in case that our plan is not having the results we're expecting. This is everything from now. Thank you very much for your attention, and in case you have any questions, please don't do to ask me. And thank you very much.